is now accusing the supermarket giants of dodgy discounts on more than 500 everyday products.
Woolworths is bleeding $2,000 a year from your wallet, and you don't even know it's happening. I'm about to expose 10 psychological traps that cost you thousands. By secret number 1, you'll be furious at how long you've been played. Secret number 10, the rewards card is a tracking device, not a discount. You scan your everyday rewards card thinking you're racking up points, building toward rewards, winning some kind of retail lottery. You're not winning anything. That card's profiling you. Every scan tells Woolworths what you buy, when you buy it, and exactly how much you'll pay before switching to cruels. Then they weaponize that data against you in ways most shoppers never realize. A viewer tracked this pattern for 3 months straight. Nappies went on special every 2 weeks like clockwork, but the price was identical every single time. Just rotated off and on to create the illusion of savings. The actual discount? Zero. And those bonus point schemes work the same way. Spend $50 on meat, get 1,000 points. Sounds generous until you realize you just spent $12 extra chasing points worth maybe $5. You lost $7 while feeling clever about it. Regulators have called out loyalty programs for exactly this kind of manipulation. The data collection is real, the personalized pricing is real, and you're the product being sold. The move, ignore the points entirely and chase actual price instead. Compare unit pricing across stores. If something's only special when you scan your card, ask yourself whether it was ever full price to begin with. Because that card doesn't reward loyalty, it exploits it for profit. Now wait till you see how they manipulate you with catalogs. Secret number 9, catalog specials are bait, not bargains. Every Wednesday, that Woolworths catalog drops in your mailbox. Glossy pages filled with yellow stickers screaming half price. And stock up now. Millions of Aussies fall for it every single week. I watched a mum walk in for half-price nappies, came for one item, left with $87 in her trolley. The nappies were $18 of that total. Everything else? Impulse grabs she never planned for, triggered by walking through those strategically designed aisles. Most catalog specials aren't actual deals, they're bait designed to get you through the door. Once you're inside, you're surrounded by full-price products engineered to hijack your cart before you reach the one thing you came for. That half-price Coke saved you $3, sure, but on the way there, you passed chips, dip, chocolate, and suddenly your $3 saving just cost you $35 in extras you didn't need. It's called loss leader strategy, and it's brutally effective. They lose money on the Coke, but crush it on everything else you didn't plan to buy. And get this, most of those half-price specials rotate on a predictable schedule. Pasta sauce every 8 weeks, dishwashing tablets every 6, cereal every month. Consumer groups have tracked these cycles for years. Once you see the pattern, you realize you're not getting deals, you're watching retail theater performed for your wallet. The play, don't shop the catalog, shop the cycle. Stock up only when your actual staples hit their rotation and walk past the rest like it doesn't exist. Because the biggest savings aren't found in the specials bin, they're the dollars you never spend chasing manufactured urgency. And wait till you see how they hide the one number that actually matters. Secret number 8, unit pricing is your weapon, but they hide it. Walk down any aisle and you'll see big, bold prices everywhere. $4.5, $6.2, $9.99, all designed to grab your eyes and trigger emotional purchasing decisions. But tucked down in the corner, printed in tiny grey font that practically requires a magnifying glass, that's the unit price, the cost per 100 grams, per litre, per kilo. The only number that actually tells you the truth about value. A subscriber messaged me with this revelation. I started checking unit prices religiously and found pasta selling for $2 in a 500 grams pack versus $4.8 for the 1 kilogram bag. Everyone grabs the big one, assuming it's cheaper per gram, but it's not. The small one's $0.4 per 100 grams, while the big one's $0.48. I've been overpaying for years without even realizing it. Woolworths knows most shoppers ignore unit pricing completely, and if you actually paid attention to it, their entire shelf psychology would collapse overnight. Get this, the bigger pack isn't always cheaper per unit. Sometimes it's actively more expensive, and they do this deliberately, banking on your automatic assumption that bulk equals value. Under Australian law, unit pricing must be displayed, but there's no law saying it has to be readable. So they use the smallest legal font in low contrast grey, tucked exactly where your eyes naturally skip over it. Even worse, they deliberately mess with package sizes. One product comes in 375 grams, another in 420 grams, making direct comparison impossible unless you pull out a calculator mid-shop. And when you're guessing, you're losing money. The move: always check unit price before anything goes in your cart. It's the only honest number on that shelf, and everything else is marketing dressed up as information. But timing matters even more than price, and most shoppers have no idea when to shop for maximum savings. Secret number 7, the markdown schedule timing is everything. Those yellow reduced to clear stickers on meat, bread, and ready meals. They feel like random luck when you spot them in your local store. They're not random at all, they're scheduled with precision. One viewer cracked the code. At her local Woolies, every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:15 p.m. sharp, the markdown staff member hits the meat section like clockwork. She sets a phone reminder, shows up consistently, and walks out with $150 worth of premium cuts for under $60 every single week. Markdowns typically happen between 7-8 p.m. for fresh items approaching their use-by date. Some stores go earlier, around 5-6 p.m. on slower days, but the pattern exists everywhere once you know to look for it. That $18 ribeye steak sitting there at 7:30 p.m. It's been marked down to $7. Same meat, same quality, just closer to the expiry date. Cook it that night or freeze it immediately, and you've basically printed money from nothing. But Woolworths doesn't advertise this schedule anywhere in their stores. No signs saying come back at 7 p.m. for half-price premium meat. Why would they? They'd much rather sell at full price at 2 p.m. to someone who doesn't know any better. Some stores even bury the markdown items at the back of shelves or deliberately mix them in with full-price stock. You have to actively hunt for them, which is exactly the point. If it was easy, everyone would do it and profit margins would evaporate. The markdown percentage varies depending on urgency. Early markdowns might be 20-30 off, but if you catch them close to closing time or right at end of use by date, you can see 50-70 slashed off the original price. Here's what to do: hit Woolworths after work, ideally around 6-7 p.m. Go straight to meat, bakery, and deli sections. Scan for those yellow stickers like you're on a legitimate treasure hunt. While everyone else pays full price at lunchtime, you're walking out with premium products for less than budget cuts normally cost. But even if you time it perfectly and score those deals, they're still watching you literally. Secret number 6, self-checkout isn't about you, it's about profit. Woolworths talks up self-checkout like they're doing you some massive favor. Scan your own stuff. Skip the queue. So convenient and modern. Let's cut through the marketing spin. Self-checkout isn't about customer convenience. It's about systematically cutting labor costs and shifting work onto you. Here's what made me genuinely furious. A Woolworths worker told me her store cut 8 checkout positions last year and replaced them with self-service machines. Those 8 people, some managed to find other work, others didn't. Meanwhile, you're doing their job for free while Woolworths pockets massive ongoing savings. Every self-checkout machine replaces a human being with a paycheck and a family. One less wage to pay, one less super contribution to make, one less rostered shift to cover. Industry estimates suggest each self-checkout station saves retailers between $30,000 annually in labor costs. Multiply that across 1,000 plus stores and you're looking at hundreds of millions in savings, all extracted from eliminated jobs and unpaid customer labor. And they've successfully conditioned you to accept this arrangement. You scan items yourself, you bag them yourself, you weigh your own produce, you troubleshoot when the machine screams unexpected item in bagging area because you dared place bread down too gently. You're essentially working an unpaid shift as a Woolworths checkout operator while paying the exact same prices as if a trained employee was providing that service. In 2024, retail workers' unions raised serious alarms about thousands of checkout jobs being systematically eliminated as self-serve technology rolled out nationwide. Those jobs aren't coming back ever. But it gets worse from here. System errors always swing one direction, against your wallet. The machine will never accidentally undercharge you for an item, but it'll happily double scan products, MIS weigh your apples, or freeze mid-transaction, requiring staff intervention that defeats the entire purpose. And those cameras mounted prominently above every single self-checkout station. They're not there for your safety or security. They're actively tracking your hand movements, watching for skip scanning behavior, and building databases on customer patterns. Some stores now deploy monitoring systems that flag suspicious behavior and send real-time alerts to staff. You're not a valued customer anymore, you're a potential shoplifter under constant surveillance while simultaneously performing free labor for the company. Here's what to do: use staff checkouts whenever they're available. Yes, sometimes it's slower and the queue's longer, but you're sending a clear message that you're a customer purchasing goods, not an unpaid employee providing labor. And speaking of things they're deliberately not telling you, this next one will legitimately blow your mind. Secret number 5, Woolworths brand equals same product, different label. Arnott's Tim Tams sit on the shelf proudly displaying their $6 price tag. Right next to them, Woolworths chocolate cream biscuits for $2.5. You naturally assume the Tim Tams must be significantly better quality, that's why they cost more than double, right? Wrong. Completely, demonstrably wrong. Most Woolworths brand products are manufactured in the exact same factories as their name brand equivalents, using identical ingredients, identical machinery, and identical quality control standards. The only actual difference between them? The label printed on the package and the price marked on the shelf. That Woolworths tomato sauce you habitually skip over, often made by the same major manufacturer that produces premium branded sauces. But because Woolworths eliminates the massive marketing budget, the expensive TV commercials, and the brand licensing fees, they can sell it for half the price while maintaining profit margins. Industry insiders have openly confirmed this is standard practice across the entire private label sector. Major food companies literally run their production lines for both their own branded products and supermarket house brands side by side, often on the same day. The quality standards and ingredients are frequently identical or near identical. And Woolworths knows that if consumers truly understood this reality, they'd never pay full price for name brands again. So they deliberately stay quiet and allow you to assume home brand automatically equals cheap quality, when the actual truth is you're getting virtually the same product in plainer, less expensive packaging. Blind taste tests conducted repeatedly by independent consumer groups prove this beyond doubt. When brand labels are hidden and products are presented anonymously, shoppers consistently fail to distinguish between many Woolworths products and their supposed premium brand equivalents. Same taste profile, same quality level, half the price tag. Here's what to do: try the Woolworths version on your very next shop, commit to just one experimental trip. Buy the home brand pasta, sauce, cleaning products, breakfast cereal, snacks. Compare them honestly at home. If you genuinely can't tell a meaningful difference in quality or taste, congratulations, you just discovered how to slash your grocery bill by 30% without sacrificing anything except misplaced brand loyalty. Because the only real thing stopping you from those savings is pride and habit. And neither of those things helps pay your bills or build your savings. Before we continue, if you want exclusive content and to help us keep exposing these retail tricks, the join button is right there. Your support keeps this channel running. Alright, let's get back to it. Secret number 4, down, down, prices are down, is a psychological trap. That jingle, down, down, prices are down, it's burned into your brain like a commercial you physically cannot escape, and that's precisely, deliberately, calculatedly the point of it. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that data reveals: prices aren't always going down at Woolworths. Sometimes they're quietly, gradually, strategically creeping upward. By the time you consciously notice the increase, that relentless jingle has already anchored your subconscious to believe Woolworths represents the budget-friendly shopping option. It's called psychological anchoring in marketing, and it's devastatingly effective when deployed consistently. Repeat any message often enough and persistently enough, and human brains start automatically believing it, regardless of what contradictory evidence exists. You walk into Woolies and your subconscious immediately whispers, prices are down here, so you don't check as carefully, don't compare as ruthlessly, don't question as skeptically as you absolutely should. That lazy assumption costs you real, measurable money every single week. Independent price tracking consistently demonstrates that Woolworths and Coles trade competitive victories on a weekly rotating basis. One week, Woolies wins decisively on meat prices. The very next week, Coles dominates dairy completely. A comprehensive 2024 analysis found that neither chain was consistently the cheapest option more than 52% of the time across major product categories. It's essentially a coin flip whether you're getting the best price. But the relentless down-down marketing campaign creates this powerful emotional feeling, this embedded vibe, like Woolworths is actively fighting heroically for your wallet against evil competitors. Meanwhile, their publicly reported profit margins consistently tell a rather different, more profitable story. And here's the pricing trick they use repeatedly. When prices actually do drop, it's often because they quietly increase them first over preceding weeks. They'll gradually raise bread by 50 cents over 2 months of normal shopping, then dramatically slash it by 30 cents and blast down, triumphantly from the speakers and signage. You feel genuinely victorious about the apparent saving without ever realizing you're still paying more than you were 6 months earlier. Regulators, including the ACCC, have investigated supermarket pricing practices and cycles multiple times, specifically questioning whether these rotating specials genuinely represent authentic savings or just sophisticated price manipulation theater. Here's what you need to do: completely ignore that jingle and its psychological influence. Track your own prices instead. Maintain either a mental record or simple physical list of what your regular staple items actually cost week to week. When Woolworths loudly proclaims prices are down, actively verify whether they're down compared to last week's price or down compared to last year's baseline. Because catchy marketing jingles don't actually reduce your total grocery bill, cold, unforgiving mathematical comparison does. If you're finding this valuable and want to support the channel with exclusive perks, hit that join button below. It helps us keep these breakdowns coming. Now let's keep going. Secret number 3, placement isn't random, it's a carefully designed profit map. Walk into any Woolworths location and understand this fundamental truth: absolutely nothing is positioned where it is by pure accident or random chance. That milk sitting at the very back of the entire store, completely, utterly deliberate by design. You're forced to walk past dozens of aisles absolutely packed with strategic temptation just to reach that basic essential. By the time you finally grab your milk carton, you've somehow also collected chips, dip, chocolate, magazines, and items you didn't even know you wanted. Bread tucked away in the distant back corner? Exactly the same strategic retail thinking. You originally came for a single loaf, but you're inevitably leaving with a trolley that's mysteriously full. Extensive retail psychology research has repeatedly proven this layout strategy works frighteningly well across all demographics. They deliberately create what industry insiders call a decompression zone right at the store entrance: stunning fresh produce displayed with care, colorful flowers, those incredible bakery smells strategically wafting through the air, all meticulously designed to slow your walking pace and psychologically shift you into receptive spending mode. Then they guide you on this carefully planned journey through their highest margin product aisles, ensuring you see and pass everything they profit most heavily from before you ever reach the basic essentials you actually came to purchase. Those prominent end-of-aisle displays that seem so conveniently placed, they're premium retail real estate worth serious money. Major brands pay Woolworths up to $15,000 per week for those prime positions in their busiest stores, specifically because extensive data proves shoppers are exponentially more likely to grab products prominently positioned at eye level on all corners than identical items buried anonymously on middle shelves. Even the individual shelves themselves are ruthlessly engineered for maximum profitability. Premium high-margin products sit precisely at average adult eye level, where you naturally look first. Budget value options deliberately crouch down low, where you'd have to consciously bend over and make physical effort to even see them. They're literally, mathematically betting that most shoppers won't bother making that effort. And the manipulation goes even deeper than physical layout. The specific music playing through speakers, the carefully calibrated lighting temperature and brightness, even the measured width of aisles is all precisely calculated for psychological effect. Wider aisles measurably slow your natural walking pace. Slower pace mathematically equals more browsing time. More browsing statistically equals significantly more purchasing. Bright LED lighting on produce sections makes vegetables look noticeably healthier and more appealing to your subconscious. Comprehensive studies repeatedly demonstrate that average shoppers entering supermarkets without a PRE-written concrete list spend 54% more than they originally planned or budgeted for. That's not coincidence, and it's not personal weak willpower, that's deliberate environmental design working exactly as engineered. Here's what you absolutely need to do: make a concrete, specific list before you even leave home. Stick to that list like your monthly budget genuinely depends on it, because it does. Don't allow yourself to browse casually or explore. Treat every Woolworths visit like a focused military extraction operation. Get in quickly, secure your specific items efficiently, get out immediately. Because every single additional second you spend lingering and wandering is another second their sophisticated environmental psychology is actively, measurably working against your wallet's best interests. And speaking of systematic wallet manipulation, the next secret hits you financially every single week without you noticing. Secret number 2, fuel discounts are an elaborate trap disguised as savings. Spend $30, get 4 cents off per litre. That promotional offer appears prominently printed on your receipt and immediately feels like discovering free money. Except it's definitely not free, and it's barely even money when you actually run the numbers. Here's the uncomfortable reality that Woolworths doesn't want examined too closely by savvy customers. They price their grocery products knowing you'll predictably chase those fuel discount vouchers. They maintain competitive but not consistently cheapest pricing across categories, then return a calculated fraction of their profit margin as apparent savings at the fuel pump. The consumer psychology at work here is absolutely brilliant from their corporate perspective. You fill your vehicle's tank, save maybe $2 total on that fill up, and feel genuinely clever about the transaction. But you completely failed to track that you spent an unnecessary extra $8 in the grocery section specifically because you deliberately chose the more expensive branded butter instead of the cheaper option, solely to hit that $30 spending threshold required for the fuel discount voucher. You spend $8 extra to artificially save $2. That's not savings by any mathematical definition. That's a net loss of $5.6 dressed up psychologically as a consumer reward program. Detailed consumer group analysis has repeatedly found that fuel discount schemes primarily and overwhelmingly benefit the supermarket corporation, not the customer using them. They successfully drive measurable brand loyalty, they systematically increase average basket size, and they lock customers into predictable, profitable shopping patterns that benefit the retailer. And here's the part that really stings when you examine it. Woolworths fuel stations operating through their ample partnership arrangement aren't consistently the cheapest fuel option in your area anyway. Independent service stations, Costco, and various other fuel retailers regularly beat their per litre pricing. But because you've got that discount voucher sitting in your wallet, creating psychological pressure, you fill up there regardless of whether it's actually the best available price. They've successfully conditioned this Pavlovian consumer response. I've got 4 cents off, I absolutely must use it before it expires. So you deliberately drive out of your normal route, sit waiting in their queue for 10 minutes, and fill your entire tank at a station that, even with your voucher discount applied, is still more expensive per litre than the independent competitor located down the street. Here's what you absolutely need to do instead: download and actively use fuel price comparison apps like Petrol Spy or Motormouth to find the genuinely cheapest fuel available in your actual local area. Fill up at whichever station offers the best real price. Then shop at Woolworths only during weeks when their grocery prices are legitimately, verifiably competitive, not because you're chasing a mathematically questionable fuel voucher that costs you more than it saves. Because the biggest discount isn't the number printed prominently on your receipt, it's the money you never spend in the first place chasing rewards programs that cost more than they deliver. And finally, #1-this is the foundational lie Woolworths deliberately built their entire brand identity around. Secret number 1, the fresh food people aren't actually that fresh. The famous slogan that Woolworths constructed their entire corporate empire and brand identity around over decades. The fresh food people. It sounds genuinely trustworthy, healthy, wholesome, and community-focused, like they're personally hand-picking sun-ripened tomatoes at dawn and delivering them directly to your specific local store with authentic care and pride. But here's the reality hiding behind all that carefully crafted marketing language. A very significant portion of that supposedly fresh produce has actually been sitting in industrial cold storage facilities for weeks or even months before you ever see it on display. We're talking about apples harvested from last season's crop, maintained in controlled atmosphere storage facilities and strategically released gradually to artificially stabilize market prices. Carrots that were physically pulled from the ground weeks or potentially months ago. Lettuce that's been industrially chilled, transported across the country, and rested in massive distribution centers before finally making its way to your local store's display shelves. Is it unsafe to eat? No, Australia maintains genuinely strict, well-enforced food safety standards and regulations. Is it authentically fresh in any meaningful, honest sense of that word? Well, that depends entirely on how flexibly and generously you're willing to personally define the concept of fresh. And that appealing fresh-baked bakery section everyone loves and trusts? Many of those golden loaves you see displayed are actually par-baked, meaning partially cooked at massive central production facilities, then frozen completely solid, shipped efficiently to individual stores in trucks, and finished with final baking in in-store ovens. Specifically and deliberately to create that irresistible fresh-baked aroma that triggers purchasing decisions. It's definitely not a dedicated local baker lovingly hand-kneading artisan dough at 5 AM in your specific neighborhood Woolworths location. It's industrial-scale automated production with a calculated final heating phase strategically performed on-site purely for psychological marketing effect. Comprehensive industry reports consistently confirm this is completely standard operating procedure across all major Australian supermarket chains without exception. The baked fresh daily marketing claim is technically, legally accurate in the narrowest sense they do finish the baking process in store on a daily basis. But those products absolutely weren't created from scratch ingredients in that specific location. The entire elaborate Fresh Food People branding campaign exists purely to make you feel emotionally positive about shopping there, to create manufactured emotional connection and unearned brand loyalty, and to position Woolworths psychologically as the healthy, responsible, community-focused shopping choice compared to their competitors. But strip away all that sophisticated marketing language and emotional manipulation, and Woolworths is simply another massive corporate retailer ruthlessly optimizing supply chains, relentlessly maximizing profit margins, and systematically extending shelf life exactly like every other major supermarket operation. Here's what you need to do if you genuinely want authentically fresh food: shop at actual farmers markets, support independent local greengrocers, and use neighborhood butchers. You'll consistently find demonstrably better quality and legitimately fresh food. Woolworths is undeniably convenient, reliably stocked, and ubiquitously located, but it's absolutely not fresh in the way their carefully crafted, decades-old slogan deliberately wants you to believe. If this video opened your eyes to how supermarkets really work, consider joining the channel. Members get early access, bonus content, and exclusive breakdowns. Hit that join button to support us and get those perks. Drop a comment with your biggest Woolworths frustration. Let's compare notes. Now you know the game. Don't let them play you anymore.